Okay, dear students, today we have to discuss the subject of the new public management. New public management is the very important subject for the administrators of India and the people of India and the students of public administration. New public management is an approach to running public service organizations that is used in government and public service institutions and agencies at both subnational and national levels. The term was first introduced by academics in the UK and Australia. Full citation needed to describe approaches that were developed during the 1980s as part of an effort to make the public services more business skills and to improve its efficiency by using private sector management models as with the private sector, which focuses on customer service. New public management reforms often focused on the centrality of a citizen who are the recipient of the service or customers to the public sector. New public management reforms experimented with using decentralized service delivery models to give local agencies more freedom in how they delivered programs or services. In some cases, NPM reforms that used e-government consolidated a program or service to a central location to reduce costs. Some governments tried using quasi market structures so that the public sector would have to compete against the private sector. In the UK, in healthcare, key themes in NPM were financial control, values for money, increasing efficiency, identifying and setting targets and continuance, monitoring of a performance, handing over power to the senior management. Executive performance was assessed with audits, benchmarks, and performance evaluations. Some NPM reforms used private sector companies to deliver what were formerly public services. NPM advocates in some countries worked to remove collective arguments in favor of individuals' rewards packages at senior levels combined with short-term contracts and introduce private sector styles corporate governance, including using a board of directors approach to strategic guidance for public organizations. While NPM approaches have been used in many countries around the world. NPM is particularly associated with the most industrialized CECD. So, nations such as the United Kingdom, Australia, and the United States of America, NPM advocates focus on using approaches from the private sector, the corporate or business world, which can be successfully applied in the public sector and in a public administration context. NPM approaches have been used to reform the public sector, its policies, and its programs. NPM advocates claim that it is a more efficient and effective means of attaining the same outcome. In NPM, citizens are viewed as customers and public servants are viewed as public managers. NPM tries to realize, really, realing the relationship between public service managers and their political superiors by making a parallel relationship between the two. Under NPM, public managers have incentive based motivation such as pay for performance and clear performance targets are often set, which are assessed by using performance evaluations as well. Managers in an NPM paradigm may have greater discretion and freedom as to how they go about achieving the goal set for them. This NPM approach is contrasted with the traditional public administration model in which institutional decision making, policy making, and public service delivery is guided by regulations, legislation, and administrative procedure. A nation, new public management reforms use approaches such as disaggregation, customer satisfaction initiatives, customer service efforts, applying an entrepreneurial spirit to public service, and introducing innovations. The NPM systems allows the expert manager to have a greater discretion. Public managers under the new public management reforms can provide a range of choice from which customers can choose, including the right to opt out of the service delivery system completely. These first practices of new public management emerged in the United Kingdom under the leadership of Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. Thatcher played the functional role of policy entrepreneur and the official role of a prime minister. Citation needed that Thatcher drove changes in public management policy in such areas as organizational methods, civil services, labor relations, expenditure planning, financial management, audit evaluation, and procurement. Thatcher's successor, John Major, kept public management policy on the agenda of the Conservative government, leading to the implementation of the Next Steps initiative. Major also launched the programs of the Citizen Charter initiative, contending for quality resource according and budgeting and the private financial initiatives. A term was coined in the late 1980s to denote a new focus on the importance of management and production engineering in public service delivery, which often linked to doctrines of economic rationalism. Wood 1989, Polit 1993. During this time from public management became an active area of policy making in numerous other countries, notable in New Zealand, Australia, and Sweden. At the same time, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development established its public management committee and secretariat PUMA, conferring to public management the status normally accorded more conventional domains of policy. In the 1990s, public management was a major item on President Clinton's agenda. Early policy action of the Clinton administration, including launching the National Partnership and signing into law the Government Performance and Results Act. Currently, there are few indications that public management issues will vanish from governmental policy agendas. A recent study showed that in Italy, municipal directors are aware of a public administration now being oriented towards new public management where they are assessed according to the results they produce. The term new public management expresses the idea that the cumulative follow of policy decisions over the past 20 years has amounted to a substantial shift in the governance and management of the state sector in the United Kingdom, New Zealand, Australia, Scandinavia, North America, and Latin America. For instance, regional innovation agencies were created under NPM principles to support the innovation process. A big interpretation is that this decision have been a defensible, if imperfect, response to policy problems. Those problems, as well as their solutions, were formulated within the policy making process. The agenda setting process has been heavily influenced by electoral commitments to improve macroeconomic performance and to contain growth in the public sector, as well as by a growing perception of public bureaucracies as being inefficient. The alternative generations process has been heavily influenced by ideas coming from economics and from various quarters with the field of management. Globalization, although the origin of a new public management came from westernized countries, it expanded to a variety of other countries in the 1990s. Before the 1990s, NPM, New Public Management, was largely associated to an idea utilized by developed countries that are particularly Anglo-Saxon. However, the 1990s have seen countries in Africa, Asia and other countries looking into using this method in Africa. Downsizing and decrease of user fees have been widely introduced. These autonomous agencies within the public sectors have been established in these areas. Performance contracting became a common policy in crisis states worldwide. Contracting out of this magnitude can be used to do things such as waste management, cleaning, laundry, catering, and road maintenance. New public management was accepted as the gold standard for administrative reforms in the 1990s. The idea for using this method for government reforms was that if the government guided private sector principles were used rather than rigid hierarchical bureaucracy, it would work more efficiently. New public management promotes as a shift from bureaucratic administration to business like professional management. New public management was cited as the solution for management ills in various organizational contexts and policy making in education and healthcare reform. The basic principles of new public management is can best be described when split into seven different aspects elaborated by Christopher Wood in 1991. Wood also invented the term new public management itself. They are the following: because of its belief in the importance and the strength of privatizing government, it is critical to have an emphasis on management by engaging in hands-on methods. This theory allows elders the freedom to manage freely and open up discretion. Performance standard, it's critical to preserve express measures and measures of execution in a workforce. Utilizing this strategy advances clarification of goals, intent, targets, and markers for movement. The third point acknowledges the shift from the use of input controls and bureaucratic procedures to rules relying on output controls measured by quantitative performance indicators. This aspect requires using performance based assessment when looking to outsource work to private companies groups. New public management advocates frequently moved from a bound together administration framework to a decentralized framework in which directors pick up adaptability and are not constrained to organization restrictions. This characteristic centers on how new public management can advance competitions within the public sector, which may in turn lower pitched dispose of debates and conceivably accomplish a better quality of programs work through the term content contacts competition can too be found when the government offers contracts to the private segments and the contract is given in terms of the capacity to provide the benefit, viability, quality of the merchandise given. Subsequently, this will increment competitions since the other private division which did not get the contract will make strides to make strides the quality and capacity, subsequently encouraging competitions. Private sector management. This viewpoint centers on the need to set of short-term labor contracts, create corporate plans or trade plans, execution assumptions and mission statements. It moreover centers on setting of a working environment in which open representatives are tem- temporary workers are mindful of the objectives and intention that offices are attempting to reach. The most effective one, which has led to its ascent into global popularity, focuses on keeping cost low and efficiency high, doing more with less. Moreover, cost reduction stimulates efficiency and is one way which makes it different from the traditional of management approaches. Differences between public and private sectors. New public management draws practices from the private sector and uses them in the public sector of management. New public management reforms use market forces for hold the public sector accountable and the satisfaction of performances as the measures of accountability. In order for this system to process certain conditions such as the existence of a competition must exist and performance about choice must be available. Reforms that promises to reinvent government by way of focusing on results and customer satisfaction as opposed to administrative and political processes fail to account for legislative self interest institutions other than federal government. The changes being trumped as a reinvention would not even be announced except for perhaps on always bulletin board. There are blurred lines between policy making and providing services in the new public management system. Questions have been raised about the potential politicization of the public service when executives are hired on contract under pay for performance systems, the ability for citizens to effectively choose the appropriate government services they need has also been challenged. The notion of choice is essential to the economic concept of a customer. Generally in government there are few if any choice. There are concerns that public managers move away from training to meet citizens' needs and limitations on accountability to the public. New public management brings to questions integrity and complaints when dealing with incentives for public managers. The interests of customers and owners do not always align. Questions such as managers being more or less faithful arise. The public interest is at risk and could undermine the trust in government. Government must be accountable to the larger public interest, not only to individual immediate customers or consumers of government services. Further information, business ontology relevance. Although national new public management had a democratic impact in the 1990s on managing and policy making, many scholars believe that new public management has hit its prime. Scholars like Patrick Dunleavy believes new public management is phasing out because of disconnect with customers and their institutions. Scholars cite the digital era and the new importance of technology that kills the necessity of a new public management in countries that are less industrialized. The new public management concept is still growing and spreading. This trend was much to do with a country's ability or inability to get their public sector in tune with the digital era. New public management was created in the public sector to create a change based on aggregation, competitions, and incentives. Using incentives to produce the maximum services from an organization is largely stalled in many countries and being reversed because of increased complexity. Post new public management, many countries explore digital era governance. Dunleavy believes this new way of governance should be heavily centered upon information and technology. Technology will help reintegrate with digitalization changes. Digital era governance provides a unique opportunity for self sustainability. However, there are various factors that will determine whether or not DEG can be implemented successfully. When countries have proper technology, NPM simply can't compete very well with DEG. Does an excellent job of making services more accurate, promote prompt, and remove most barriers and conflicts. These also can improve the service quality and provide local access to outsourcers. The new public services is a newly a newly developed theory for 21st century citizens focused public administration. This work directly challenges the clientelism, clientelism and rationalist paradigm of the new public management. New public services focuses on democratic governance and reimagining the accountability of public administrators towards citizens. New public service persists that administrators should be a broker between citizens and their government, focusing on citizens' engagement in political and administrative issues. Comparisons to new public administration, edit new public management is often mistakenly compared to new public administration. The new public administration movement was one established in the USA during the last 1960s and early 1970s. Though there may be some common features, the central themes of the two movements are different. The main thrust of the new public administration movement was to bring academic public administration into line with an anti-hierarchical egalitarian movement that was influential in US university campuses and public sector workers. By contrast, the emphasis of the new public management movement a decade or so later was family managerial narrow normative in that it trusted the difference that management could and should make in the quality and efficiency of public services. It focuses on public service production functions and operational issues, contrasted with the focus on public accountability, model employer, public service values, due process, and what happens inside public organization in conventional public administration. The table below gives a side by side comparison of the two systems' core aspects, characteristics. New public management, new public administration, hands-on approach, anti-hierarchical, anti-positivists, explicit standards, democratic citizenship, emphasis on output control, internal regulations, disconnections of units, equality, importance of the private sector, importance of public citizens, improve timing, stability, greater usage of money, socio emotion, socio emotion, and the public administration, the motivation of the new public management administrative activities in the organizational level. R.A.W. Rhodes stated that over the years that study of public administration has seen many patients come and go, often fun, sometimes instructive, rarely long-lived. New public management is the first serious challenges to strike the foundation of public administration, since it is about marketizing the enterprises of public administration through the Secretariat of the State. It is important to note that Wilsonian idea of political administration dichotomy got legal backing for a dichotomy of a policy formulation and policy implementation. This can be seen Goodno's work entitled Politics and Administration, published in 1900s. This idea matured in Taylor's scientific management movement and the postcard direct doctrine. The Brownlow Committee, which was appointed in 1937, incorporated these principles into the reforms undertaken in public administration to adopt the uh, cost effective practices of the firms. New public management is very reflective of these reforms. Presently, the most vehemently debated and discussed them in public administration is that of the new public management. The new need to save the aligning states that the intolerance with the nasty bureaucracy, its stubborn inertia, unresponsive attitude, and wasteful economic led to the birth of new public management. New public management carried away the focus of public administration from institution building to policy implementation, and as a natural link to this, procedures became subordinate to the results. Thus, the era of Wilson's dichotomy to new public management becomes less a work of academics and more that of state politics. The unending tasks of a recasting administrative framework to meet the demands and aspirations of new socio-economic challenges has made the discipline a subject of a intense ideological debates given the pluralistic nature of the democratic state and the push from the global markets. The identity of public administration was once again challenged and also threatened by the floating doctrinary assumptions which seek changes in government functioning. New public management carried away the focus of public administration from institutions building to policy implementation, and as a natural con- concomitant of this procedure become subordinate to results. However, the foundation of the discipline remain unscathed and is re-emerging as a focal issue. While the weaknesses of new public management are gradually being revealed by evaluation literature. Literature, the state's mismanagement and shoe-starting budgetary allocations for policies resulted in greater concentration of decision making power with the bureaucracy. With this, the administration, which has its roots in the traditional Webnerian bureaucracy and rigid hierarchies, become, become even less receptive to the demand of society. The preoccupation with organizational rules abstracted the development of a learning organization and mesmerized institutions of governance. The failure of this first and the second developmental decades is largely attributed to the economic mismanagement of public policies due to the inaptitude and ignorance of government. In line with the public interest theory of economics presented in the work of A.C. Piggio, it was assumed that market failures and beginningly pursue the objectives of maximizing social welfare. The dent in this belief was exposed by the work of public choice theorists and especially the seminal work of James M. Buchanan and Gordon constitutional democracy. It established that public policy does not does not operate according to the public interest model, and therefore the regulations for policy achievement are also not born out of al- altruistic motives of the state. This has been further explained in the work of Stigler and Friedman, some Feldman and Schauter and Tolition. The socio the socio called a paradigm changes that manifests in the garb of new public management is the result of this new understanding of the state. John Kamensky has linked it to the public choice theory since it has tended, tended to reject concepts like public spirit, public service, and so forth. Politics is like a marketplace, and there is a market for every policy program and associated regulations. Thus, policies do not arise out of the begin desire to mitigate people's deprivation, but out of the rent seeking impulse of the government. Bureaucrats strive to maximize their own political interests, which include enhancing their re elections respects and increasing the value of their lifetime income streams. Government seeks selfish interests and becomes shackled by obligations towards such groups. The questions that intrigue goes as all is that if the policy or a particular public regulations generates, generates no substantial benefits to the citizens or of the costs incurred in implementations are much higher than the benefits accrued them. Why are such policies repeatedly formulated and definitively sustained, sometimes even against a concerned public oppositions? So this is today's lessons, dear students. We have to discuss a good lesson for today's BA first year students. Thank you.